Yeah, it's Wrestling Uncensored. Welcome to the show. Tonight, lots of controversy going on in AEW. Jon Moxley is the new AEW Undisputed World Champion. We watch SmackDown. We're watching Rampage. We're talking wrestling. Let's get Johnny in here and start the show. Yes, indeed. Where is he? There he is.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. It was a nice vacation we had. Nice little break. It feels like it's been a long time. 1 week you're off, and feels like so much has happened.
Yeah, so much has happened in pro wrestling in the past couple of weeks. We were off last week because we were at SmackDown, so we couldn't do the show right after SmackDown. SmackDown was in Montreal, of course. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The live SmackDown experience, acknowledging the Tribal Chief live in person, that was pretty good. All the pyro, all the production that the WWE puts into the shows. It's a good live show. And SmackDown, it's like 2 hours, you're in and out. It was pretty good. I know there was a dark match. I stayed for a bit of the promo, but I didn't stay for the whole match because I was with my 5-year-old son.
The match was nothing.
Yeah, I figured.
The match was nothing. The promo was everything.
Yeah. The promo was really good between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at the end of SmackDown last week when they went off the air. Yeah, but it was cool. Cool for them.
They dragged it. That's what hurt the match. Like, no one really cared about the match because the promo, it sucked all the energy out of the building.
Yeah, when Riddle came out, I was like, oh, cool, Riddle. And then I was like, all right, we can
leave. Exactly.
Let's beat the traffic.
You felt the energy in the room, like, just kind of died a bit. No one cared about wrestling.
Well, it's a dark match, You stay if you really want to stay, I guess. It's not a dark match.
It wasn't that late. It was only 10:30. That's pretty early for a wrestling show when you think about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like a very long show, right? They're usually about 3 hours, and this was about 2.5. But I was happy with it. I was good with it being shorter. There was one pre-show dark match. Nakamura wrestled Angel Garza, I think.
Yep. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was all right. The Fatal 5-Way last week on SmackDown was really good. That Sheamus won.
Match of the night easily.
Yeah, I was really happy that Sheamus won because I really like Sheamus. And he was just fantastic. And the crowd really wanted Sami Zayn to win. But it would have made sense in a way, but because the winner got a title shot at Gunther, I just really am excited about the Gunther-Sheamus match. I think Sammy Gunther would have been all right, but Gunther and Sheamus, like, the style seems kind of made for each other. They're gonna hit each other very hard, is what I'm saying. Those guys also they can hit each other hard, and each of them can take it. So it's gonna be quite a match. Like the Sami Zayn match against Gunther would have been a different style, and I wanted to see the Sheamus Gunther match because to me it's like a dream match.
And I'm sure for the fans in Wales, that's more of the match they want to see more. Not that Sami Zayn's not a good wrestler, but it's not the particular style of match they want to see, where it's two brutes going at it, where if it was Sammy, it's pretty much one-sided. He's just trying to make a comeback throughout the whole match.
I like two brutes going at it. And as we see the Dark Order just upsetting the House of Black, my prediction is coming true, John. I'm telling you, it's going to be Dark Order versus Kenny and the Bucks in the finals, and Hangman's going to be in Dark Order's corner, and something's going to go down there. I predicted this at the start of the tournament.
I think they kind of gave it away because they screwed up the graphic, because it was supposed to be a mystery person with Alex Reynolds and John Silver. but there wasn't a mystery person. It was just 10. I think they jumped the gun on that. I think something's probably going to happen in the next match where 10 gets hurt or something. And then, yeah, Hangman will have to substitute. We've seen a substitute happen before in tournaments. Let's remember Scorpio Sky substituted for Christopher Daniels, and they went on to win the tag titles.
Hangman isn't booked for All Out. He doesn't have a match. It would make sense if he was in that one. Hangman, Hungy, and Reynolds. Hungy's got to be in the match. Got to have Hungy, right? People love Johnny Hungy. Oh, Darby Allin's on TV again. Where's this guy been?
And Sting.
Yeah, Sting too.
Apparently doing some 96-foot jump or something in a Jeep. Apparently that's what he did.
Okay.
Apparently he wanted Sting in the car, but no, Sting was on the Jeep. Sting was a bit smarter than that.
Well, that makes sense.
Didn't need to risk himself.
No.
Yeah.
This is a legit jump you're talking about? Like a shoot jump? It's real?
Apparently it's online somewhere. You can actually see it. I haven't seen it, but apparently it happened, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try and track that down. Shout out to Silent by Deadly and Ryan Katz checking us out live right now on YouTube. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Hit us up on Super Chat if you've got any pertinent questions to the show, anything you want us to get to, any comments. If you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, appreciate you tuning in here to the Ringside Report Network. What'd you say?
Said I have a question.
Oh, yes, John.
So what did your family think of the show? I know what you thought of the show. What did your family think? Your brother's very critical of WWE, so that's interesting always.
Yeah. I mean, we had a good time, right? It was like a family deal. I went with my brother and my dad and my son. So it was good. It was fun. We had fun going to SmackDown, you know? If I'm going to look at it from a critical standpoint, like there were some matches that were not so good, but we had a lot of bathroom breaks. My son drank a big apple juice, and those guys have smaller bladders because he's small. He's 5, you know? He's a smaller guy. So he had to go pee, and he's not going on his own, so Daddy had to go with him, so I missed a lot of the show, just going to the bathroom or whatever. I saw most of it, but, you know, there were some times where I just kind of stepped out. I didn't see the Hit Row segment. I heard them come out.
Didn't miss much.
Or I saw that the male models were coming out, and I was like, yeah, all right, let's go for a snack now at this point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What I saw was good. I like seeing Natty. Always great seeing Natty Neidhart. Like I said, the
match was terrible.
The match was very bad. The people that they wrestled were particularly not good, right? It was Natty and Sonya against the Toxic Attraction, and they were new. And they won,
right?
But now they're out of the tournament because one of them got hurt, right?
Well, you saw it. I don't know if you remember the match, but like, I think it was Gigi when she went for like a hurricanrana, but like landed right on her neck and like hard on her neck, and then she's like selling her neck like the whole match, but
yeah,
it's like legit sell.
Oh,
so that's
is she okay?
Injury right there easily. Well, clearly not because she got out of the tournament, right?
Oh man. Well, that sucks for her. Debuting on SmackDown, you win. You're gonna go advance in a tournament, and then you injure your neck. That's too bad. But yeah, the match was not very good. I was not really impressed with anything. I didn't realize she got hurt, but it was yeah. I didn't love it. I didn't love that match. And the other the Liv Morgan match was pretty bad too. Who did she wrestle? Shotzi?
Shotzi.
Oh yeah, that was bad. That was the crowd was not into that.
That was just boring. Like it wasn't like sloppy. It was just boring.
Yeah, no one cared.
The opener was bad all around. Like just sloppy, rushed. You could tell. I think Toxic Attraction. They're kind of nervous because it's their first time on the main roster. And I think it went through like 2 commercial breaks. Like that match shouldn't have been that long. That's the problem too. Like I'm all in favor of having longer matches in WWE. I think it's better for a lot of the wrestlers that can do it. We saw it this week on Raw. It was good, but like for some wrestlers that shouldn't, and I'm speaking mainly of the women wrestling.
Well,
they don't need to have commercial breaks because like all those matches have been hurt by being long. We saw it this week and last week.
Some of them are particularly inexperienced, and it shows.
They get exposed, yeah.
I'll
100%.
give you that. Yeah. Yeah. But oftentimes the women are the best part of the show. However...
Ooh, not this past 2 weeks.
There was a match tonight. I thought Natty's match tonight with Natty, not the first one. The first match,
the
four-way tonight on SmackDown was not good. Sonya and Natty beat Nikki Ash and Doudrop, Dana Brooke and Tamina, and Xia Li and Shotzi in a last chance fatal four-way to replace the Toxic Attraction in the tournament. Nikki Ash got superplexed from inside the ring to outside the ring on a pile of people. And it looked like she hurt her leg in some way, her foot, her ankle. It wasn't clear what happened to Nikki Ash. But then she was shown later on in the background of a promo kind of arguing with Doudrop. So I don't know if she's hurt or not, but that was kind of a rough finish. It was weird, too, because she did that move. Nikki looked hurt. Sonya, rushed, grabbed her, threw her in the ring, pinned her, and the match ended. And people were thinking that maybe that was not the planned finish. Maybe she got hurt, and that's why they rushed it. But it was a pretty impactful move. I could see them going for the finish after that. You just did a superplex to the outside on a pile of people. That's a finish, you know?
I agree with it. It's just the way her leg landed, it looked really bad. I thought maybe she broke something there. It looked kind of disgusting, to be honest.
But she seemed all right standing, talking to Doudrop later on, right? But she wasn't wrestling. I don't know. I think she's all right. But the Raquel Rodriguez match, it was Raquel. Well, Aaliyah was there too.
Yeah. Handicap match.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good.
A handicap match.
Yeah. But I mean, you're disrespecting the women's division here in WWE, and I just want to shine a light on some of the very good. There's been some bad women's wrestling in WWE lately, but tonight the Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, and Sonya Deville match was pretty good. Aaliyah also there. Aaliyah is Raquel's tag team partner. She took a Michinoku driver on the outside of the ring and then was not seen again for the rest of the match until Raquel won by herself after a big powerbomb on Sonya Deville. That was pretty damn impressive. And Aaliyah then reemerged and celebrated with Raquel. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. I don't know if Aaliyah was really hurt after that Michinoku driver, but Natty drilled her with that thing outside the ring. It was awesome. It looked really good, but that's all Aaliyah did in the whole match. But then we got to see Raquel Rodriguez wrestle, and the more I see of her, the more I like her a lot. I think she's got tremendous potential to be, one of the top women in the company. On a Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley level to where she's, the next generation of top stars in this company. Beating Charlotte Flair, beating, Becky Lynch, beating Bayley, whoever. I like Raquel Rodriguez. I like that she won that match on her own. I mean, that tag team, who is it? It's Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez. But really, Raquel Rodriguez is the one that people are kind of worried about. Aaliyah lost to Bayley in her hometown on Raw this week.
Oh, we want to talk about bad wrestling. Wow. That has to be the worst match of the week, easily.
I mean, you keep Aaliyah out of the ring. That was the plan tonight, and it worked. I don't know what's going on with Aaliyah. Bayley even said, are you bad?
You know why they did that, though.
Bayley said something like, are you just bad at wrestling or something? In a promo to Aaliyah.
Yeah. But you know why they did that match, though? I mean, she's from Toronto.
Yeah.
That's why that match happened.
Yeah, but she lost.
And, she lost, but, it's still, it's her hometown thing. And, you could tell she was kind of emotional. She was crying before the match started. I don't know if you caught that.
No. I didn't notice.
She was very emotional.
I was not paying attention when I was watching that match. I was like, yeah, all right. I was doing something else.
I think she was really thrown off. Like you could tell, like I think the emotions got to her again. She didn't puke this time, but like it's tough for her, I think, in some matches. She gets too emotional.
It's hard for me to sit through Aaliyah matches. Aaliyah one-on-one, I know Bayley was back and everything, and I like Bayley, but just watching Aaliyah wrestle, I tune out. I don't really pay attention. I do something else because, it's not really worth my time. And tonight, when she was in that tag match, I got disinterested, but then I saw her take that move, and then she was gone, and then I just watched Raquel Rodriguez because I'm interested in her. We haven't seen a lot of her, and I want to see more, She's very good. I'm like, is she this good? Because the more you see of a person, the more you realize, like, okay, was that just one good night, or is she this good on a consistent basis, and what can she do with different opponents and stuff like that? And she's very good. However, there's no way Raquel and Aaliyah win the women's tag team title tournament. Io Sky and Dakota Kai are their opponents on Raw Monday night in the finals of this thing. And I think Io Sky and Dakota Kai are here to win. And then possibly feud with Sasha and Naomi down the road, if that's an option. You would think they would want to do that.
Well, I think, one thing at a time. Get through this match. Then they have the 6-woman match at Clash of the Castle. So, I mean, I would save the return. I know people were saying for Raw it should happen. I would save it for Clash of the Castle because that's a bigger show, but wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know when Sasha and Naomi are coming back or if they're coming back, but you assume that they are, right? At this point?
I mean, they brought back the titles for a reason, right? And they didn't really make teams so much. There's a lot of makeshift teams in this. Besides Bayley's team, I guess, is kind of, but still that's rushed. So I feel if it's rushed, there's a bigger reason behind it. So, I mean, if it's not Sasha and Naomi, it's going to be very disappointing, I think.
Well, what if they created the division again and did the tag titles because they said they were going to, and they wanted to use it as a way to introduce Bayley's new group in a strong way, and it has nothing to do with Sasha and Naomi. Like, that's a possibility too, because this whole thing has been built around Io Sky and Dakota Kai and Bayley and them kind of becoming the champions. It could have something to do with that. Because, like, they could do, Freebird rules, New Day rules, where Bayley defends the title too sometimes. Because if it's Sasha and Naomi coming back to feud with Io Sky and Dakota Kai, like, I don't know. You think Bayley would have to be involved in a wrestling way against them too?
Well, she'd be involved anyways, like, just on a mic. So that, to me, would be fine enough. And they could switch it up every now and then if they wanted to, really, I think. Because, like, when they go for the titles, they have to face that team. But non-title matches, they face Bayley. Could see stuff like that happen. Like, they need to build up some teams. And they don't really have any strong teams. So you need a team like Sasha and Naomi. At least you can, in the meantime, build up some teams while that's happening.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think building up the division is a good idea too. However, we saw a glimpse of that division tonight in that 4-way, and it is not strong. Need a little bit more there, right? Like, they need a little bit more.
To be fair, on Raw, it's much stronger. Like, just maybe they're not great teams, but star power, there's more teams there, at least, I think. Potential. Compared to SmackDown, where it's like...
You got Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Yeah. They're a good one.
And you could put Bianca with anybody, and then right away, boom, that's a team.
Yeah. But she's kind of with Asuka and Alexa Bliss, isn't she?
Well, that's it. I mean, just put it with somebody else. You can easily do that.
I don't know who else is on Raw, really, at this point. Everybody's on all the shows, It's confusing. I don't know who's where. Do they still have that thing?
They still have the split, you mean? Like, apparently there's no draft now, apparently until like WrestleMania, so does it really matter? I mean, you saw Bayley's team come out on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah, they're on both shows. They were on SmackDown last week, too. They were in the crowd.
So.
All right, Harold Schneider. Harold Schneider's been a member for 16 months. Says, missed you guys last week. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate it. We are back. Happy to be back this week. There's so much to talk about. AEW, WWE. Crazy week in Dynamite last week and this week.
Yeah, what happened last week in Dynamite? I forget.
CM Punk did that promo.
All right, yes.
About Hangman and Moxley, and that promo was great, by the way. Let's get into it. Shout out to Doug Hepburn. He says WWE's been decent. The live show in Kingston was really good. They saw Trish Stratus and Bayley. Yeah, Bayley did give Kingston and London, Ontario a shout out. Says Trish has been following them all around Ontario.
Super chat.
Thank you, Harold, for the super chat. Appreciate you dropping the $20 super chat. You're the leader of the night. He says, I am afraid for AEW's future. I'm a little bit worried myself. I'm wondering what's going on right now. Antoinette, been a member for 20 months. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Thank you, Antoinette. 20 months, 16 months. That's what I'm talking about. The dedication of the Ringside Report, universe, all the people that support the show. You guys stick with us, and I appreciate that. We're like one big family, and I love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, Harold. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Silence. Thank you, all the members that support the Ringside Report Network and keep us going. But AEW is in a weird place, and where do you want to start? Do you want to start with CM Punk and Jon Moxley? Do you want to start with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara? Eddie Kingston being suspended for getting into it with Sammy Guevara backstage after Sammy Guevara called Eddie Kingston a fat piece of shit in a promo. And apparently their match at the pay-per-view is canceled because Eddie Kingston got too angry. There's that.
You shake your head to stuff like that. It's just ridiculous.
He got suspended from the company, and they seem to be canceling a pay-per-view match, so it matters, right? I mean, it's crazy, but Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega. They're doing that match, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega. Yeah, of course it's crazy that happened with Eddie Kingston. It's just crazy. Everything in AEW right now is crazy. They held a talent meeting before Dynamite this week because they had to settle some things because everything's out of control. It's not good. I don't know what exactly is going on and, to what degree. But at the same time, I know what you're going to say, John. It is kind of good for business because it does make AEW a little bit more interesting. That Jon Moxley CM Punk match had a lot of intrigue going in. Like, what is going to happen here? There was a lot of talk that CM Punk was angry. Let's go back to last week.
Okay.
With CM Punk's promo when he talks about Hangman Page and he challenged Hangman Page to come out, right? He's like, oh, Hangman, why don't you come out and have a rematch with me? But this was not planned. So Hangman doesn't come out. And Punk says, oh, that's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit. And he says that the apology better be louder than the insult. And he wants some sort of apology from Hangman over something. It's all kind of, you got to put the pieces together yourself. So you put the pieces together. Why. Yeah, of course. You go back to the Hangman promo to CM Punk before their match, before Hangman dropped the belt to CM Punk, where Hangman was saying, I'm not defending the championship here. I'm defending AEW from you. I'm defending All Elite Wrestling from you. You're not really the good guy all the time that you pretend to be when the cameras are on. Talk about being a locker room leader, all that type of stuff. Like, it was a really interesting promo from Hangman at the time, and you had to read into it and connect your own dots. And that's kind of what you're getting here from CM Punk And that's what we saw in that promo where he's calling Hangman out. And then when you're watching it, you think, oh, he's calling Hangman out, and then Hangman doesn't come out. So you think, oh, that's weird. I guess he'll come out next week and say something, you know? But then you hear Dave Meltzer reporting, oh, no, that wasn't the plan. Hangman is not supposed to come out. This was all CM Punk going into business for himself because he's really mad. People are putting out stories that CM Punk is threatening to quit the company, and he was maybe not even going to show up on Dynamite when he did last week. And then CM Punk gets into it with Jon Moxley and says some pretty, explosive things about Moxley, how he's the third best guy in his group, talking about the Shield, and, it's like strong, and you agree with it too. You're like, well, yeah. It's like that's a trend in your career, and you're like, oh yeah, he's in that group with Bryan Danielson and Cesaro, so yeah, it's kind of, yep, But it's like, man, I can't believe you're actually saying this about this guy who's about to come out here, and he does say it, and that's what CM Punk does. And Moxley said some things about Punk, and he said he's the heart and soul of AEW, and Punk said, well, you can be the heart and soul of AEW. I'll be the dollars and cents. And then Moxley goes, let's be honest. The only reason you came to AEW is because you ran out of money. And that's what a lot of people kind of think about CM Punk. Like, well, he was out of wrestling for a while. The UFC thing didn't really work. The movie career isn't really panning out in a big way. So at some point, he's going to want to make some big money and cash in on his wrestling stardom. AEW seemed like a place where he could do it. And that seems to be an issue. CM Punk is a polarizing figure in professional wrestling. Some people love him and some people hate him. But I think that helps his wrestling character. I'm not sure if it helps his actual reputation as a human being. Apparently, a lot of people in the AEW locker room were upset that Colt Cabana was not renewed to an AEW contract. And that the Young Bucks had to fight with Tony Khan and make sure that Colt Cabana was given a Ring of Honor deal at least and given something and not just kind of tossed away. And a lot of people felt that because CM Punk had a former friendship that got severed in a major way with Colt Cabana, that CM Punk had something to do with Colt Cabana not being re-signed to AEW. When, if you're being fair, Colt Cabana wasn't really being used from AEW that much. Like, he was on Being the Elite. He was part of the Dark Order technically, but when was the last time you really saw him on TV? Even before CM Punk ever showed up in AEW, you didn't see much of Colt Cabana. But maybe that was part of Tony Khan courting CM Punk and trying to bring him into the company. I don't know. It's the Colt Cabana thing, it is what it is. I can see people that are friends with Colt Cabana putting two and two together and thinking, hey, CM Punk, you're not friends with Colt Cabana. You're not that friendly to me. I don't like you. And that seems to be an issue in AEW, where some people are not happy with CM Punk. And CM Punk doesn't seem too happy about it himself. What do you think about what's going on here with CM Punk? And then CM Punk and Jon Moxley have this match set up, right? And they do the match this week on Dynamite that everybody's anticipating. Punk shows up and he throws a kick and he acts like he's hurt. And then Moxley gives him a couple of his finishing maneuvers and pins him in under 5 minutes. And then CM Punk kind of walks away, and then Moxley is the undisputed champion. And we're still unsure of what the main event will be for All Out. Because CM Punk seemed like he's still injured. People are saying it's going to be Moxley versus Punk in a rematch of some sort. But it's hard to explain when Punk lost in this fashion here on Dynamite. It's hard to explain. And that's not really... Oh, what happened?
We got view changed.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not really the whole thing, right? I mean, there's more. I feel like there's not... Hey, yeah, that's
There
better.
you go.
Yeah, we got to fix that. It's like a little too. It's like I disappeared.
Too squished.
Yeah, I got all like tiny.
But we got
Yeah,
something tonight though. Like they're gonna have Punk on Rampage here.
really?
Yeah, there's like exclusive like after what happened in Dynamite with Punk. So I think that might help explain what's gonna happen at All Out. I think.
I suppose. But it seemed like CM Punk was, you know, I don't think he's actually still injured. People are like, oh, is he still hurt? And he just came back to drop the belt so that he could go away. I don't think that anybody that's that hurt would come back. I mean, he could drop the belt with a promo. He doesn't have to actually wrestle. I don't think that that's a real injury. I think he's just working the injury. But I wonder why.
Well, I feel like this is a match. They knew this was gonna go at least 3. I think, right? They're gonna make a trilogy of it. So I think this was just a great way to throw it off because I think a lot of people just saw it like, oh, it's Punk versus Moxley. Like Punk's always gonna win that match. But what if, especially in his home state, what if Moxley actually got one? And they came up, I thought, with a pretty good idea where it threw people off. No one saw Punk losing in his first title defense in like 3 minutes, but it happened. And also very interesting that every time there's an interim champion, the interim champion always wins, apparently, so far. If you saw, remember with the TNT title, this happened before.
Right. But, I mean, are you telling me that CM Punk lost so that he could come back, 10 days
In
later?
Chicago.
10 days later? Chicago. And he's going to win?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does it, though? If you're that hurt that your foot just completely gives out on you and you lose in 3 minutes, you're telling me that 10 days later you miraculously recover to have like a 20 to 30 minute match with Jon Moxley and win? How does that make sense? I don't care how bad I'm hurt. You know? It doesn't make sense. If a guy beats me in 3 minutes, I'm not going to wind up beating him in like 25, and I don't see that happening. It's not realistic. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a weird, like, I could see them doing that, but it's just kind of like, really? That's what you're doing? I don't love it.
Well, I think they're going to do Punk and Moxley here, and then we'll get the rubber match, because it'll be tied then, right? They'll have to do the rubber match at the Grand Slam event, I think.
Okay.
So I think that's the plan here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if right now during Rampage they're going to, because right now we're seeing like a video package of that Punk Moxley match right here.
Yeah.
I don't know, immediately after we're going right to the exclusive Punk content here.
All right.
But there's a good chance.
I'll listen in a little bit and see what I can find out. Moxley beat CM Punk.
People are like, "Oh, Punk sold the wrong foot." It's like, no, he didn't. He sold the right foot. I mean, the left foot was the right foot.
It's just they're showing Punk in the locker room getting tended to by some doctors.
So
he says his foot just gave out. That's it? That's the exclusive that they're giving us here on this show? Cool. So, I don't know. Punk, I don't know. I guess the deal is Moxley didn't want to just lose to Punk at the pay-per-view, so they figure a way to beat him here and then lose to him at the pay-per-view 10 days later.
Oh, everyone gets to win in their home state? That sounds about right.
Okay. What do you make of all this, though, with AEW? There's so much going on. CM Punk and Hangman and that whole thing. Should he have done that, CM Punk? Whose side are you on? CM Punk or Hangman?
Well, who committed the foul first? Did Hangman go into business for himself first? That's what it seemed like to me. Because I remember that promo being like, what the hell was this? Like, I didn't understand it whatsoever. So the fact that Punk can come back and do that, it's like, well, you got what you deserved.
Yeah. A lot of people have said CM Punk is a, difficult guy to work with. I wonder what's going on, really, with AEW. Who's on what side, what's really happening, but it does seem like there are backstage factions growing. And different people having different issues. Yeah, it's always like that, though, right? But, sometimes...
It always clicks in wrestling.
Yeah, but sometimes it can... Sometimes it boils over. Sometimes it gets a little personal and things get a little crazy. Like with Eddie Kingston. Sammy Guevara cuts a promo on him, and Eddie Kingston gets really mad and basically yells at him, goes bananas backstage, and kind of puts his hand in his face. Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara have both released statements about this report coming out. Eddie Kingston basically apologizing, and Sammy Guevara was like, yeah, this is what happened. I cut a promo. Eddie was mad. He came after me. It's not the first time Eddie's been mad backstage, going bananas. Apparently Eddie Kingston just goes crazy backstage and just yells and screams and goes on and on. I'm not surprised. The guy seems a little,
There's this magical list of, like, you can't say that against me in promos that exists somewhere in someone's head, I guess, that you're supposed to know, I guess. So I think it's just kind of ridiculous. It's a wrestling promo.
Yeah.
And you're getting mad about that. I think it's ridiculous.
Eddie Kingston should be really glad he never worked against Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton would say some horrible things about him. He would definitely call him fat. Randy Orton...
He's lucky.
Randy Orton would always make fat jokes. If any of his opponents were not in his shape, he would always make jokes about it in his promos. And Randy would definitely do that to Eddie Kingston. And if Eddie Kingston tried to attack Randy Orton, I mean, my God, Randy's got 100 pounds on him of muscle, I don't know.
Not only
not
that,
100 pounds,
but standing too.
Yeah, he's gigantic, Randy Orton, Eddie Kingston couldn't do that to Randy Orton, but of course he goes after Sammy Guevara. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't like him for whatever reason. They got personal beef, and that's going to happen. You're not going to like everyone that you wrestle, but you got to learn to at least get along, at least in the ring. But this is why, if that offended him, WWE would eat him alive, because you've seen how WWE shames guys like Kevin on TV, making him eat chips underneath a table or something. That's just them on TV thinking this is a funny idea, but it's really them poking fun at him a lot.
Of course. Leor says, thank you, Leor, member of the team. I love CM Punk's mic work, but I find his last matches in AEW have been sloppy.
I mean,
I
the
thought
last
his matches
match
have
was
been all
not
right.
really much of a match. It was just a,
the Moxley match.
It was more of an angle. Yeah.
But before that, I thought his matches were good. I thought his match with Hangman was good. But his promos are great, And that's really... And, for all of AEW's problems, the show this week was pretty good. It was a pretty good show. The Chris Jericho promo with Daniel Garcia and then Bryan Danielson coming out was pretty good. I like that whole deal. And now we got Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho at All Out. That's a good match. I'm down to see that. That's for me right there. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson on pay-per-view. They booked that just for me. Can't argue with that. You know what I mean? That was good stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to start off a show with Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho doing a promo about who Daniel Garcia belongs to, whose son he really is. It's like that Robin Williams movie with Billy Crystal where they're trying to figure out whose son it is. You all know what movie I'm talking about. Father's Day. Tremendous. Anyways, it's like Father's Day with Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson. And the promo was really good. And the match is going to be spectacular. And I'm very happy that they booked it because it wasn't one that I saw coming. And I'm very happy that it just kind of came around and they decided to go with it. Fantastic. I'm good with it.
Well, I thought they'd do Hager and Danielson, but I guess that's going to be on Dynamite instead.
Yeah, on Dynamite coming up on Wednesday, which is pretty cool. Jay Lethal beat Dax Harwood with a roll-up with a handful of tights. I thought that match was all right. It was fine.
I'm liking that Jay Lethal's getting more consistent TV time here. I know some people probably weren't happy with Jay Lethal when he first started. I mean, they threw him into a title match right away. He lost and then kind of got lost in dark for a bit, but now he's steadily getting TV time, and like to me, they're making him into something. Like maybe he might not become TNT champion, but they're doing something with him at least.
And then Sanjay Dutt says that Jay Lethal is gonna have a trios match against FTR and Wardlow at some point, and it's gonna
All Out.
Oh, it's at All Out. And it's going to be Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal versus Wardlow and FTR, which is a pretty cool match. I like that.
Different. I mean, better than to have Singh and Sanjay, I think. I was looking forward to that. But put Motor City Machine Guns, that's interesting. It's different.
It's like TNA Wrestling versus AEW?
I guess, in a sense, you could look at it like that. It's that kind of match.
Are the
I appreciate
motor guns?
All the tank top love tonight I'm getting. I got the same love at the WWE SmackDown as well.
What do you
the
mean?
Ring announcer, Samantha Irving, like she pointed at me and said, "Nice shirt."
Really?
So that's cool.
Super chat.
Yeah.
Super chat. Super chat.
What tank were you wearing?
This exact tank.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's why I wore it again.
Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, I'd wear tank tops if I look like Johnny. Of course. I don't look like Johnny, but I still wear tank tops because it's hot sometimes in the summer, you know? You got to do what you got to do, baby.
It was hot in the Bell Center. I don't know about everyone else. Like, man, it was hot.
I had shorts and a t-shirt. I was doing fine. I didn't need the tank. I was worried, you know? Sometimes in a Bell Center it's kind of cold.
Really? I did not feel that whatsoever.
Well, it wasn't this time. It was all right.
Seeing the photo you took of me, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how bright it is. You could really see everyone very clearly. I did not realize that. I thought the fans are so dark. Not so much.
I
they
can
can
see
you
you
easily from the ring. Yeah, you could see me, and you're past the ring.
Yeah, I saw you across the arena. Did you see me?
Yeah. I didn't see you because, like, unfortunately, where you're sitting, it's like everyone wears black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I was wearing black.
Yeah, but a lot of people around you were, though. So that kind of screwed it up.
I'm looking for you on this picture of Ronda Rousey I took, and I can't find you anymore. Like you were there, and oh no, there you are. Hold on.
Yeah.
Show the picture you're talking about. There's Ronda Rousey. And there's Johnny right there. You see him? With the mask on and the tank. There's Johnny, baby! At SmackDown last week. Watching Ronda Rousey do her thing. She kneed the Green Phantom in the face.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. The Green Phantom was one of the security guards at SmackDown last week. And Ronda kneed him in the face. I saw him after the show, and he's like, oh, my head hurts. Ronda kneed me in the face.
It's good that he's selling afterwards. It's good.
Yeah. Pretty fantastic. AEW Dynamite, though. More controversy. Thunder Rosa. There's all sorts of Thunder Rosa controversy going on. She relinquished her championship she's no longer. Well, I guess she's still the AEW Women's Champion, but she announced that she's gonna have to step away because she's hurt. She's got a back injury,
Right.
and well, she didn't really specify what her injury was on Dynamite, but she has since said that it's a back injury. And now there's going to be Well, I don't think you need Dave Meltzer to confirm it when Thunder Rosa said it herself. Thunder Rosa says she's got a back injury. Dave Meltzer confirms Thunder Rosa has a back injury. I don't know. Do we not take Thunder Rosa at her word when she says she has a back injury? Do we need Dave Meltzer to confirm it? I talked to Tony Khan. He tells me that Thunder Rosa really does have a back injury. She's not lying. I'm like, what?
Some people apparently are not taking her word. Apparently there's a lot of heat on Thunder right now. So
yeah, there's weird heat on Thunder Rosa. There was a story that I saw, I'm not sure where it came out, where Thunder Rosa had a match with Jamie Hayter, and she broke Jamie Hayter's nose in the match, and then after the match, she was like hiding in the bathroom, afraid of repercussions, and I'm like, doesn't Thunder Rosa have like an MMA background? Didn't she fight professionally in a fight or two? I think she could probably handle Jamie Hayter or Britt Baker or whoever may be coming after her. I don't really understand what that story was, and Thunder Rosa has kind of said like that's not really true. She didn't address that story. She didn't address that story specifically, but she kind of said like, I'm not hiding from anybody. If you have a problem, you can come talk to me. It's weird. It's weird stuff with Thunder Rosa. Britt Baker's kind of feeding into it. I'm not sure how much of it is Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa continuing their feud, or how much of it is real heat between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I think that makes for a better wrestling product when you're not sure if it's real or not, and they wind up wrestling each other. I think it makes a far more compelling match. Like, look at Jon Moxley and CM Punk. After the Punk promo last week, everybody thinks Punk is mad. And then all of a sudden this week, you better watch that Jon Moxley CM Punk match. And then you see it, and you're left with even more questions like, what the hell's going on here with CM Punk? Why did he lose in like 3 minutes? I think it's good. Whatever's going on with Thunder Rosa, I hope she can heal up and come back. I think heat is good. I think controversy is good, right? The great Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash. And I think he was correct. The controversy makes it a more spicy product.
It's good, but apparently they don't know when she's going to be back. So that's very concerning. Where it's like, how long are we going to have this interim? You know, Punk was out for how long? 2 months? You know, and now they're not even sure with this. That's kind of worrying, actually. We might have a very long-term interim champion.
The interim may become the permanent champion. It's Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Shida is back.
It's actually a better match.
I find it odd that Baker and Hayter are in the match when they're like on the same team. Doesn't seem fair. In a 4-person match, 2 of the people are a team. Wouldn't they work together?
2 heels, 2 faces. I think they're doing a tag match. Aren't they doing a tag match this week on Dynamite?
I don't know. Maybe, but
I think so.
Yeah, but you know, Shida and Storm aren't a tag team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. But I think again they're going by the rankings as well, though. Hayter and Britt are up there. Shida's up there. They just went by that. I think they took like top 5 or whatever, or close to top 5.
Well,
you know, honestly, I think Statlander was probably going to be up there because she was going up the rankings as well, but unfortunately she got hurt as well.
Right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Who do you think wins the 4-way? Toni Storm? I think they should make Toni Storm champion. It's
tough. You know, like I'm thinking Toni right away because I think Toni was probably going to beat Thunder originally, but you know, maybe they, you know, when Britt Baker's in a match, like you should never doubt Britt Baker because we've seen it before in the past. She usually wins.
Yeah, that is true. So it's possible, you know. Matthew Henley asked, Dave, are you a fan of CM Punk? Yes. I am a fan of CM Punk. I like CM Punk. He's an interesting wrestling character. Antoinette says, I hear he will win it back in Chicago. That's what we're hearing. That is the word, that CM Punk is going to win the title back in Chicago at All Out at the pay-per-view in 10 days. Well, less than 10 days now, right? It's in it's a week from
The match is
Sunday.
not confirmed yet to happen yet, though. They haven't said the match is happening yet.
No. And they have one episode of Dynamite to do it in Chicago on Wednesday. Right?
Yeah. Well, I guess, they also have Rampage. They want to wait that long, but it's
That'd
really
be 2
waiting
days
to the
out.
last minute. Yeah.
WWE's Clash at the Castle is the Saturday afternoon, September the 3rd, and then AEW's All Out is Sunday night, September the 4th.
Well,
we will be doing a
right
post-show.
Back into more wrestling. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, big wrestling deal. Big wrestling weekend. We'll be doing post-shows for both events. Both WWE Clash at the Castle and AEW's All Out. I'll be anyways. I think John will be, but we'll see. Maybe one of the shows he'll have to miss. We'll see. I don't know. You tell me, John.
I'll probably watch both shows, but what
All right.
I saw, it was 1 p.m. or something. The Clash of the Castle starts.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a long commitment, but we'll wait and see. I mean, probably they'll probably finish around 5, 6 p.m. I'm guessing.
No, it's not going to be that long.
I feel like it's going to be long.
They only have 5 matches announced.
Surprising. I thought at least 7 or 8. They were going to announce anyways.
No. 5 matches. Roman Drew, Liv Shayna, Bianca, Alexa, Asuka against Bayley, Dakota, and Io, Riddle versus Seth Freakin, and Gunther versus Sheamus.
Well, those matches will be long, probably, so.
Still.
It'll still be a 3-hour plus show.
Probably about 3 hours, maybe 3.5, but I don't think it'll hit 4. I think it'll be under 4 hours.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Hope you're right.
Yeah, no, I like CM Punk. I find him interesting. I like his promos. I think his matches are good. I like CM Punk, and it doesn't really bother me that some people don't like CM Punk. Like his coworkers. That doesn't really bother me because he generates interest in the show. He generates interest in wrestling. He does sell tickets. He does move ratings. He's good, He's good at pro wrestling. He's good at the art of pro wrestling, the promos, the whole package. The attitude, the belief in himself. Like, you can tell he believes he is the best. And sometimes when you believe you're the best, you're going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Because a lot of other people believe that they're the best in professional wrestling. So, it's not easy to do. And I think, Punk upsets some people. But I like what he does, and I think a lot of people enjoy CM Punk. So, we'll see what AEW does with him, but I hope he comes back. I hope he does become champion. I want to see it happen. I want to see CM Punk as AEW champion. I like him as AEW champion a lot better than Jon Moxley. Kenny doesn't seem up for it right now. And Tony Khan doesn't seem like he's going to give it to Bryan Danielson. So Punk seems like a good option right now. I like Punk. Punk is good.
Well, Punk's the most intriguing character just because you're just not sure of what's going to happen with him. And you really want to know what's going to happen next. He's got that ability to make you want to see what he's going to do. Like you said, he's the biggest draw they have, without question.
Yep. His promos are fantastic. That whole thing he did with Moxley, it was great. His matches are good. Everything he does is great. Ooh. 49. Aaron Judge. 3-run homer. Yankees up 3-0. Number 49 on the year for Aaron Judge. 49th homer. I thought that was 50. I was like, was that 50? No, it's 49. He'll get there maybe tonight. 3-0 Yankees over the A's in Oakland. Let's go. Let's go. Woo. Sorry, I had to interrupt the show for a brief Yankees message because Aaron Judge just took one deep. Oh, what a guy. What a guy, that Aaron Judge. He'd make a great pro wrestler. He's about 6'7". He's a gigantic guy. He's bigger than most wrestlers. I think he's bigger than Braun Strowman. They took a picture together at one time. It was like Aaron Judge and Braun Strowman, and they were at Yankee Stadium, and Judge is bigger than Braun Strowman. Can hit a baseball pretty far.
I'm just trying to think of baseball players in wrestling. It's kind of rare.
Yeah, but you don't have guys that are usually big enough. But Aaron Judge is a big dude. He's really big. He's not like super thick like Braun Strowman, but he's taller than him, and he's, he started weight training and wanting to be a pro wrestler. I'm sure he could do it, but I think playing for the Yankees is a little bit more lucrative, especially in this contract year. Hitting 49 home runs in the major leagues, it's pretty good. You're going to get paid after that. All right. Where were we? CM Punk? Tremendous. One of the ass boys beat Billy Gunn. Beat his own father after he punched him in the balls and hit him with a finisher. Beat your own father by punching him in the balls. That is low. Aaron Judge would never do that.
Got what he needed out of him, He came out of him, so.
Yeah, well, God. I don't know why you had to put it that way. And now the Acclaimed were with Billy Gunn, and the Ass Boys beat them down, and then Keith Lee and Swerve showed up and ran off the Ass Boys. But then instead of setting up a match with the Ass Boys, they set up a match against the Acclaimed, I think. Which is weird.
Yeah, that's the match for All Out.
You know what I mean? You know why that's weird? You know what I'm saying? Like, they save them. They're both baby faces. There's a heel team there. But they don't get a tag team title shot. The Acclaimed get a tag team title shot. I like the Acclaimed. I think they're great. I'd like them to be tag team champions, but they're not going to beat Lee and Swerve unless they are. I don't know.
I don't think so, but I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibilities. I mean, when you look at it, they kind of surprised us a lot this week. I felt like I didn't think they'd ever give it to Moxley, and they did. So, stranger things have happened.
What tag team do you like better? Swerve and Glory or the Acclaimed?
It's tough.
That's what I'm saying.
I like Swerve. Yeah, it's tough. Like I'm good either way, really. I mean, they're both very good teams. The Acclaim really need the tag titles right now. They haven't been in this kind of match yet, this kind of like big stage. So I think it might be too early for them. They just turned face too. That's why I feel like, you don't need to put the titles on them, especially if you're going to have a new world champion at the end of the night.
Which it may be.
Yep.
It may be.
You have new trios champions for sure.
Is it weird that they're going into the pay-per-view next week and coming up on Dynamite, they have to announce a main event? It's one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year. It's All Out, and they don't have a main event.
Yeah, but they can get away with that because they've already sold out Chicago, haven't they already?
Yeah, they sell out all the buildings. They sold out that show in Toronto real quick, or 2 shows in Toronto, but they're playing like a small building. It's not like a lot of people.
7,000, right?
Yeah, 7,000 tickets. I don't know why they're doing that.
14,000. New market. I kind of get it.
It's a big city. They could have sold the other building, the Air Canada Center or whatever it's called. But I think it was booked. I think that's the reason. It was like booked doing something else, but still, they could be booking bigger arenas. Was the Bell Center booked on those dates? Why is AEW going to Toronto, selling out in Toronto in October, not announcing any other Canadian dates? How about Saskatchewan? How about Quebec? How about Kingston, Ontario? How about some other dates, AEW? Let's go. We're ready. I mean, they do shows in some pretty small towns. They're going to Albany, New York on this 14th of September. Maybe we can get tickets for that. Albany's about the same distance. I think it's closer than Toronto to us, right?
I believe so, yeah. Well, Toronto's actually kind of far. 6 hours. It's a decent drive there.
If I get us tickets for Dynamite in Albany, you want to come with me?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. It's on a Wednesday, right? Ugh,
Yeah.
not so much.
When do you think
Rampage
Dynamite is?
Better. Rampage is better, man. Friday nights, especially if it's live. Rampage is really good when it's live.
Well, it's a taping, so you get to see both.
Oh, it's too bad.
All right, John's not down. Britt Baker won a match on the show. Christian continues to cut promos about the Jungle Boy and their match. Ricky Starks did this whole passionate promo in the ring about Will Hobbs turning his back on him. It was all right. I think...
Well, it helped set the
go
match
ahead.
for the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
They're going to wrestle the pay-per-view, so, I mean, you needed this.
People aren't talking about it. It's not what people are talking about. You know? People are talking about Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho. They're talking about CM Punk. They're talking about Eddie Kingston getting suspended. They're talking about Jon Moxley. You know, these are the people that matter right now in AEW. And, of course, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay and his Aussie Open squad beat the Death Triangle this week with help from Kip Sabian, who revealed himself finally. He's been wearing a paper bag over his head for months.
Yeah, but you knew it was him. It was some big reveal. They said it was him. Like, it's not a big, oh my goodness, it's him.
I was wondering, is that this guy's job? Is this what he does now? Because that's all he did. It was weird.
It's true, yeah.
So eventually he attacked Pac during the match, and the referee didn't see it for some reason. And then Rey Fenix got beat by Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open. So Team Ospreay advances to the semifinals of this Trios Championship tournament, and they will face, on Dynamite in the semifinals, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And Kenny and the Bucks came out and confronted Ospreay after the match, and apparently they cut some promos on each other for the audience only. I saw Kenny's promo. I didn't see Ospreay's promo. Did you see it?
No, I saw Kenny's thing too. I didn't realize Ospreay said something.
I thought Ospreay maybe cut a promo, but Kenny cut a promo on Ospreay. And when the brackets were announced, John, this is the match that I said should happen. Will Ospreay and his team against Kenny and the Bucks. Like, this was a possibility, and I said, yes, this is... Right? Didn't we talk about this 2 weeks ago when they set up Death Triangle?
This was too good for Dynamite.
Yeah, you said it was too good because they couldn't possibly do Kenny against Will Ospreay in a ring on TV just like that, but they're doing it.
It takes
it's
away
not
from
one-on-one.
the pay-per-view match, to be honest.
Yeah, this is bigger than whatever they're going to do on pay-per-view. Although if it's Hangman, then it's something else, right? If it's Hangman in the Dark Order against Kenny and the Bucks, could get emotional.
This is more heat, in my opinion. Like, there's more anticipation, I think, for this match than any of the matches in the tournament. Like, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on this one. It feels like kind of like how WWE in their tag tournament, like, that Raw final should have been the finals because there was more heat there. There was more story built there. But no, you got in the second. They've done this before too. Remember Tony Storm, Britt Baker had a story, but no, that was semifinals, not finals. for the Owen Hart tournament. Remember that?
Did they have a story?
Yeah, they had the whole Tony Storm showed up. Britt Baker was in her face the whole time, and then finally they had the match, but it was semifinals.
Yeah. But this is way bigger, right?
It's bigger, of course, but
because Ospreay and Kenny have said some things about each other over the past several months that have felt very real and didn't feel like they were building towards any kind of match. Just felt like they don't like each other, right? I mean, Will Ospreay was saying, like, basically, when he started working for AEW, he said in an interview, like, I was supposed to work for AEW a lot earlier, but there was somebody here that was kind of blocking me from coming, and now he's not here, and all of a sudden I'm in AEW. Isn't that funny? And everybody thought he was alluding to Kenny Omega, right? And there's been a lot of shots back and forth from Kenny to Will Ospreay, from Will Ospreay back to Kenny. Let me read you a quote from Kenny Omega about Will Ospreay that he said to Fightful. He says, a guy like Will who is great at moves and has a list of 20 very forgettable 5-star matches. I'm going a little too hard on Will. Will is great. I don't want to say anything bad about Will. I'm just saying that I think New Japan made the right choice by going with Jay White. He was the star of the two. The star of the two is all I'm saying. So, Kenny saying, got a bunch of moves, forgettable matches. Jay White's better. And,
that match on Dynamite was 5 stars, was it not?
Which one?
The one we just saw, the one against Death Triangle.
I don't know. It was good. 5-star? I don't give stars to matches. It was good. I don't know. It was good. If you want to rank it out of stars, I'd say it was 4. Wasn't perfect.
Okay.
Wasn't the great. I don't love a 6-man match. It was very good. 4.5, all right, if you want. But I wouldn't say. I mean, Meltzer, like, his rating where he's given 5-star matches to, like, everything, it's like, well, he gives a lot of them. And then sometimes it's like 7. It's like, well, that's even more unnecessary. I'm like a harsher critic, and to me, like, a 5-star match is very hard to achieve, and I've only seen a handful of them. It doesn't happen all the time. A perfect match, like perfect, it's tough. It's got to be the right moment, too. Can't just be a quarterfinal match in a, trios tournament. That's not how I would do it. But it was very good. Very good. Did Meltzer give it 5 stars?
I think he may have. I'm not sure. But, like, I'm just saying, like, you can't deny it was good. Like, Kenny's saying that he's not having these good matches. It's like, well, it's not really true. Like,
no, Will Ospreay's amazing. And, like, that match that he had there, the 6-man match on Dynamite, it was all right, but I've seen Will Ospreay have way better matches. Will Ospreay's incredible. But it's like a personal thing with Ospreay and Kenny. Let me play a video that Will Ospreay put out on July 23rd, way before this match was announced. This is a long time ago. And there's some bad language here from Will Ospreay. What's that?
It was a month ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I guess so. And I wonder here, was all this a setup for this match? For an ongoing feud here with these guys in AEW? Or are they just capitalizing on the real bad blood and the very public bad blood and using it to sell a match on Dynamite, which is risky, Because if Kenny and Ospreay really don't like each other, and then you put them in a situation where they have to work together and pretend to punch each other, like, it could get a little rough, right? Could get a little weird.
See, this is where it's weird, like, it's okay for these guys to do this, yet, Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, like, say one wrong word and, the match is off. So It's weird how AEW works.
Well, they're not EVPs like Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I guess Kenny can just do what he wants. Yeah. Well,
Kenny's in charge.
Yeah, but Will Ospreay can just say whatever he wants now, I guess, because he's working with Kenny.
Yeah, well, Ospreay doesn't really work for AEW, so he can do whatever he wants, right? He's a New Japan guy.
Yes, yeah.
He's on loan. Let's. I want to show you this video. Will Ospreay put out a T-shirt where he's doing the one-winged angel on the front, and on the back it says "Better than the best bout machine." Okay. And then Kenny apparently sent him a cease and desist letter and he had to take down the shirt and stop selling it. So here's Ospreay's response to that he posted on Twitter about a month ago.
It's a beautiful day in my Japanese hotel while I am out here for the G1, and I couldn't help when I woke up today that there was going to be some good news. If you go on the link for Billy the Wanker t-shirt that was inspired by the clip that went around of me performing Kenny's finisher, the One Wing Angel, it got so much traction, I decided to put a t-shirt up on Pro Wrestling Tees, and Ryan helped me out with it big time. However, 24 hours later, that shirt cannot be found anymore because it got a cease and desist by Kenny Omega. I have just exposed Kenny as an insecure little bitch. Because it was fine when those guys were throwing up a too sweet and they got hit with a cease and desist and they continue to poke fun at the bear. But when it is me doing it to you guys, you have a problem with it. The thing is I've finally worked it out. It's just because Kenny is a miserable little prick. He takes it out on me because I'm actually having fun with my life and I'm doing the things that he's done plus more. Want an example? When Kenny was my age, the only thing that he was able to accomplish was the fact that he won the Junior Heavyweight Championship for all Japan, like anyone cares. And the only other thing he was able to accomplish was he done that barn burner match with Kota Ibushi in Budokan. We all remember that match, but that's all you did. At the age that I'm at now, I've done everything that you've done in New Japan and more. You're also pissed off because the vision that you had for AEW has now turned into something that you don't like, and people are starting to get an NXT vibe about the joint, isn't it? Or maybe, Kenny, it's because all those Joshi girls, they're not getting the TV time, but your 205 Live guys are, aren't they? I'm going to get in so much trouble. And now the shoes are on the other foot. You've turned into the big boys, trying to look down on the little guys. All I'm just going to do is keep poking the fucking bear. I've just exposed Kenny Omega as everything I've just been saying he is. A little fucking cunt. Have a good day, Ken, you fucking prick.
Yeah.
Classy ending. Very classy way to end it.
My God. Yeah, it felt real at the time. And now they're having a match on Dynamite next week. And it still feels pretty real. So I'm looking forward to the match.
Well, again, like, you don't need to like the person that you're wrestling, as long as you can do good business with each other. Remember Matt Hardy and Edge? They didn't really get along, but they got along for the sake of good business. So, like you said, it sells a match. People are interested, So why not? Hopefully no one gets seriously injured. I mean, Kenny's still banged up, so you got to wonder about that.
Is everybody aware of the Ospreay Kenny Omega feud? I don't know if everybody is aware. Like, I'm aware, you're aware, but not everybody that watches AEW TV is that familiar with Will Ospreay, or even familiar enough to know that he's, had this ongoing feud on Twitter, basically, and through interviews with Kenny Omega.
Well, they can't show that stuff. That's the problem.
Yeah. But to just do the match and not really explain any kind of history between the two is a little weird. Like Kenny's promo on Will Ospreay, if that had been on TV, it would have helped sell the match for next week. But it wasn't on TV. So Like, this match has a lot of anticipation if you know. But AEW has done nothing to tell their audience, hey, Kenny and Ospreay really don't like each other. You might want to tune in. You know, like, they haven't kind of jumped in on this, even though the people that know, like you and me, that follow this stuff super closely, we're very well aware, and we're like, oh, shit. What's going to happen with Kenny and Ospreay? And they have to get in the ring together because that's why everybody's tuning in, and they know that. So, I don't know. I think on the one hand, cool, but on the other hand, is everybody that aware of this whole thing? Because to me, if I was running AEW, I'd say, okay, we all know, but I'm sure there are some people that watch our show that don't know, so let's just clue them in real quick with a 3 to 5 minute video package, or even a 3 minute even. 5 minutes can run long. 5 minutes is a lot of time. Throw a little video package in there, explain stuff, show clips from what Ospreay said, use bleeps. It's good stuff. It builds a match. Like, I'm sure there are people right now watching the show that were unaware of the Ospreay-Kenny thing, but after seeing that Ospreay promo that I just showed, are now more interested in the match. You know what I mean?
Oh, probably. Sure.
So, it would have been good had AEW done something there. Clued in their audience. But like, hey, guys, by the way.
But again, this is a semifinal match. Maybe they don't want to draw that much attention because this isn't meant to be that huge kind of match that they're going for because it's only on television. This is more for the people, like, if you know, then yeah, you really got to see this. But we really don't want to overexpose this because what we care about is the pay-per-view.
I could see them using this as a step, as a chapter in the story of Kenny and Ospreay, to where down the road, when they do have a match, whatever happens in this match adds to the story of the next one. You know what I mean?
Sure, because it's their content. They created it, sure.
Mm-hmm. Kenny and the Bucks obviously are going to win.
Well, I mean, this whole tournament was based around them. If they don't make the finals, then what is the point of this?
I don't know. I don't think there is a point. I don't think it's going to be Aussie Open and Will Ospreay versus Dark Order in the finals. So I think it's probably going to be Kenny and the Bucks against the Dark Order. And yeah,
you get the rematch of Will Ospreay against Orange Cassidy. Maybe that's the game plan for this.
I don't know if we need that. The finals of this tournament will be at AEW's All Out. You're going to have Wardlow and the FTR against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Tony Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida to determine the interim AEW Women's World Champion. They're going to have a casino ladder match. Bryan Danielson wrestling Chris Jericho one-on-one. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defending the AEW tag titles against the Acclaimed. Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. And Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And possibly something with Sting and Darby and Miro against the House of Black? Or is that just...
I heard something about that, yeah.
Right?
I don't know if it's going to happen.
And they're not doing Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston? Because I kind of want to see it now. I didn't want to see it before, but now that I know that it's real, it's like, oh yeah, let them fight.
I mean, we'll find out this week if it happens, but I don't know. Like, after all that stuff, I think it's just ridiculous. I'm actually less interested now because of all the drama.
Why?
Because, one, they kind of exposed their business. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you shouldn't have heat with each other like this. And it's like, well, why are we doing this if you can't actually say anything? What's the point?
Yeah, but if you expose that there's real heat, it makes people, like, believe in the wrestling story.
I just believe that, If they're going to go through all this trouble, there's no point in wrestling, to be honest. It's not worth it.
You don't believe in working the wrestling press and the wrestling fans into believing things are more heated than they are to build a match?
I mean, the fact that you exposed it, though, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't, and then to say that you shouldn't fat shame him and, like, sticking up for him, it's like, you're going too far with that. And now we have to believe that they're going to wrestle each other afterwards?
Who's saying you shouldn't fat shame him?
Sammy said that.
Oh, but he said it in the promo.
He said it exactly. Like,
and Eddie Kingston didn't know about it and wasn't happy about it. So what's he talking about?
To me, they've lost my interest completely for this. Like, it's over. Like, just move on.
I think you got to trick people into thinking it's real. I think, like, when Ronda Rousey says, if this were real, I'd kick all their asses, and they all know it, and they got no chance against me, and we can do the whole show thing, but they all know what's really going on. And then she's saying that in a build to a match. It makes me go, oh, shit, is something going to go on? And it makes you want to watch even more. Even though she's exposing that it's not real, we all know it's not real. She's not exposing anything. She's pointing out the obvious, and she's making you go, well, we all know it's not real, but she's saying some real things. Like, she's saying it's not real. And saying it's not real is the realest thing you can say when you're involved in it. You know? If you go, wrestling's not real, but we're going to step into a match next week and we're going to wrestle each other. Like, well, okay, well, what are you going to do exactly? Because you just told me it's not real. So what's going to happen? Are you going to make it real? Like, what? I think adding reality and kind of blurring the lines is where you need to go to make people believe again. Because people don't believe. Everybody knows it's a work. So acknowledge that it's a work, but try to work within those lines. Acknowledge that, yes, it's predetermined and mostly it's fake, but I actually hate this guy, and I might punch him in the face for real. Like when Becky and Charlotte wrestled their match there at Survivor Series or whatever it was.
It was Survivor Series.
And they had all that backstage heat and all those reports. And Charlotte was like escorted out of the building because she was going bananas at Becky, and there was all sorts of heat. Remember they dropped the title belt? All the belt exchange that went wrong, right?
Accidental drop.
Yeah. So Becky and Charlotte at Survivor Series is like, yeah, all right. But Becky and Charlotte at Survivor Series after the heat and the reports, you go, oh, are they going to fight for real? And that's what you have to get. That helps to build a wrestling match. Are they going to fight for real? Is this going to devolve into something else? And when it doesn't, and you can see that they're being professional and they're working with each other, every punch, every slam, if it has impact, you think, oh, did they put a little bit extra on that because they don't like each other? Did they hit each other extra hard because they don't like each other for real? Because we know they don't like each other for real, right? So they must be hitting each other really hard. We know it's not real, but they're hitting each other pretty realer than the other times. These other matches on the card are like not real, but this one, it's not real, but it's realer. Oh, and it could get real. Could get really real, you know? I think you need that. If you want to build a big program that people are interested in, you can acknowledge that it's a work while at the same time working. Like, yes, this is predetermined. That wrestling is all, we're doing promos. We ask each other what to say before the promo. But he got mad, and he's a good guy, and it's my fault, and it's all good. But we're going to wrestle a match against each other, and before the match, I might call him a fat piece of shit. And then we'll see what he's got to say about that in the ring. all of a sudden you're interested. It helps, man. It helps when you think there's a real issue. Sean and Brett, you know? I mean, it works. I mean, not always. Sometimes you get screwed, brother, but it usually works.
I feel on a 9-match card that we're probably going to see that Sunday. For a match that might be good, might not be good, I'd rather cut the match, to be honest.
I'd rather have that match than the House of Black against Sting, Darby, and Miro.
Oh wait, Darby's matches are great. Like,
I know.
You always got to see Darby.
I know, but because there's a real issue with Eddie and Sammy, it's got more heat. It's got more interest. Gets the people
but it
going.
might not be that good to watch, to be honest. At least with Darby, you know he's gonna kill himself.
I guess. I don't know. I kind of don't want to see him do that anymore because I don't think AEW appreciates him.
Well, I think they do. Like, he always gets a lot of good screen time.
Gets some. Not as much as he used to. He was TNT champion.
He also gets hurt a lot.
Does he? Is that the problem? Is that why they're not using him that much? Because I feel like a guy at his level, his star power, as good as his matches always are, would be higher up on the card by now.
I feel like he's at a good spot. Like, he's not main event, but he's up there, though.
I mean, he's on the bubble for being booked for this pay-per-view. He may or may not have a match.
Yeah, but as we saw with the last pay-per-view, they always find a spot for him, I find.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right. And he's lucky he's partners with the Stinger, because you always want the Stinger on pay-per-view. Ryan Katz saying Darby's the 21st century Mick Foley. I disagree. I think that Darby is the new generation Jeff Hardy. I think if anybody's modern-day Mick Foley, it's maybe Kevin Owens. He's got a lot of Mick Foley in him. Sami Zayn was acting like Mick Foley with Roman Reigns tonight. Felt like Rock and Sock. Those two guys connecting. You know, like Roman's like the cool guy, and Sammy's just trying to be in with him. Sammy was kind of funny. You didn't think?
I didn't find it particularly funny, no. I thought it's just the same goofiness. And, like, I thought it was okay in Montreal, but it just gets kind of boring after a while.
The crowd loves Roman Reigns. Every crowd now.
Great.
Montreal went crazy for Roman Reigns. Biggest babyface of the night. No booze. Just love for the tribal chief. You thought the entrance was too long? I thought the entrance was great. I thought the entrance was the best part of the show. He comes out. He stands there. Everybody's acknowledging him. We got the bloodline foam finger. Tremendous.
I don't think the entrance needed to be that long. I really like it. That felt like 5 minutes at least.
Best part of the show.
Well, not the best part.
And then he said,
Sami Zayn,
No. The best part of the show was when he says, Montreal, acknowledge me. That was the best part of the show. By far. That was great. He didn't even say it tonight. He was in some town, Detroit, tonight. He didn't say Detroit, acknowledge me. They didn't get it. Because he attacked Drew McIntyre from behind. He never did the in-ring promo. We got the best version. We got Roman Reigns, middle of the ring, promo, classic Roman, vintage Roman, coming out, saying the name of the city, and then acknowledge me. Pretty good. Can't beat that.
Well, they'll probably get it because they're taping SmackDown right now, right? Or
okay.
Finish up.
They'll get Detroit. Acknowledge me. Yeah. My son loved it. He thought that was great. That's really all he remembers of SmackDown. I think that was the best part for him. And the apple juice.
Did he get a Roman t-shirt?
No, they don't have them in small enough sizes.
I saw a lot of kids with Roman shirts.
Really?
They were selling them.
They must have been big, though. No? I didn't think that they were kids' shirts. I didn't see any kids' shirts at the show. My son has a John Cena shirt, though. He was wearing that.
Oh, boo.
Classic. So good. Yeah. What's going on in WWE? Edge wrestled on Raw this week. That was pretty good.
It was all right. I thought Kevin Owens and Gable was the best match on Raw.
Yeah, that was pretty good, too. I just like seeing Edge wrestling on Raw in Toronto. It was cool.
It was cool. It was a good moment for him. I thought Toronto was okay at best when it came to being like for the reactions. I mean, they were good for Edge. They were good for Trish. They were okay for Kevin. Everything else, that it seemed they were kind of disinterested in. Well, they love Gargano for whatever reason.
Yeah, they did love Johnny Gargano. He came back after 9 months away. He seemed to say, he was thinking about going other places, but he decided to come back to WWE. He wants to be Intercontinental Champion and U.S. Champion and WWE Champion and perform at WrestleMania. And then Austin Theory came out, and he's like, hey, I've done a lot of these things already. And I used to be like your sidekick in NXT, and maybe you could be my sidekick here on the main roster. And then Gargano hit Theory with a super kick. And that was that. But Gargano is now on Raw, back in the WWE. I don't know. I mean, people like him. He's all right. I'm not, I don't know. I can't, you know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan. I think he's fine. But I'm not going to go crazy. I don't think it's a earth-shattering move that they have Johnny Gargano. It's like, all right, he's a good piece of the roster, I guess.
Like they made it seem like it's a big deal, and like it's good. He's a good wrestler. Like, is he going to be like a main event star? I don't see that, but I think some people believe in that. So, okay, but like to me, like you look at him just against Theory, it's like I don't see how he beats Theory, to be honest. That's his feud.
Theory looked gigantic next to him.
And Theory's not the biggest guy, too.
Yeah,
he bigger people in WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Edge and Damian Priest.
Drew McIntyre. Imagine him against them. Like, it's a mismatch.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is pretty gigantic. He's way bigger than most guys in WWE. I like the finish of Raw, though, where Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley attack Edge after the match. Edge beats Damian Priest, of course, after a spear. And then Rhea Ripley hits him with a low blow, and Finn hits a coup de grace, and Edge is down. They start setting up the concerto. But Beth Phoenix, Edge's wife, was ringside, and she jumped the guardrail, takes a chair away from Finn Balor, jumps in the ring, and everybody kind of backs off. Rhea Ripley thinks about it, but decides not to. Nobody wants to mess with the Glamazon, and she stands tall there with Edge. I thought that was cool. I like seeing Beth Phoenix involved, and it got me excited for a potential Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley match, which, would be pretty good.
Well, is the rumor match not Edge and Ray and Beth against Rhea, Finn, and Priest? Is that not the match for the Clash at the Castle?
I mean, that would make sense. I haven't seen that rumor, but I could see that match happening. I like it. They should do it.
It makes the most sense, I think. And plus it sells the whole, like, Dominic's not in the match and be upset kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's a great move. I hope the WWE does that. I'm a big fan of Beth Phoenix. Anytime they can use Beth Phoenix, I'm happy. Even Trish Stratus. Like, I like seeing Trish Stratus all over Raw doing that promo with Bayley. And then Bianca Belair and, Bianca talking about how Trish is great and Bayley should stop being mean. But Bayley's promo is really good. Bayley's fantastic. Bayley was on...
Not tonight.
I liked her. I thought her commentary was great.
Oh, I almost had to mute it because it was getting so annoying. Like,
what?
Her with McAfee, like, against Cole, like, that was terrible. I couldn't stand it.
I liked it. I thought Bayley was the highlight.
Distracting.
Yeah, but you want to be distracted. What was the match?
I believe it was.
It was the Raquel match. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Bayley added to it. Bayley's good, man. I thought she was great on commentary. I'm a big fan of Bayley and everything she does.
A bad week for her. Like that horrible match on Raw. Worst match of the week easily. And commentary, like, I wanted to turn it off.
Is Trish Stratus going to wrestle again?
You know, I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, if the opportunity arises and, you know, the stars align kind of thing, you know. But I don't know. I think it's just talk right now. They have to really push for something and have, like, you have to keep having major events in Toronto, I think, for that to happen. Like, if they bring back a pay-per-view to Toronto, and maybe this is when Edge retires, whatever, you know, maybe you'll see a Trish match as well.
I'll tell you. A lot of people saying that the crowd in Montreal was a lot hotter than the crowd in Toronto. And this is like, you know, people in the States saying that, I'm seeing. Like people that have no connection to either city. I was seeing a lot of people saying how, oh, the Montreal crowd was hotter than Toronto and Montreal should get a pay-per-view and stuff like that. I couldn't really tell. It's hard for me to tell because I was in the crowd on Friday, and it's hard to tell even watching on TV, like what's a louder crowd. But for some reason, people that watch on TV, they can tell. And they thought the Montreal crowd was rowdy. I think they just liked that they were cheering Sami Zayn, which is different, you know?
Well, think about it, too. Like, Toronto had close to 20,000. And like, Montreal was like 12,000?
Yeah.
So,
did Toronto have 20,000, really?
Close to it. Not 20,000, but close.
Wow.
You would think it would have been louder than Montreal. To me, it didn't seem like it was. But again, you know, it's a different thing when you watch TV and are there live. So, but when you have, you know, that many people and there's not that much of a difference, to me, that didn't look too good for Toronto. However, I'll also admit, though, that I thought the SmackDown show was better than the Raw show.
Yeah. I think so, too. Harder to stay energetic for a 3-hour Raw as well. I don't know. I couldn't really tell what was the hotter crowd. I just saw people online, like from the States, saying, oh, the Montreal crowd was better. I was like, oh, really? That's cool. It's nice to see, you know, because I was there, but I don't know if it's true or not. But I did see it. I did see it. So hopefully we get a pay-per-view, because you said Toronto pay-per-view. Forget that. Montreal pay-per-view, because I would go to that, and I wouldn't go to a Toronto pay-per-view because I don't want to travel.
Thanks.
Oh, for WWE? I mean, come on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Traveling, booking a hotel for WWE? I don't know.
I understand. I totally get you. Like, you know, I last minute went to that Montreal show, so I completely get you. Like, go to Toronto? Yeah, not so much. But I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy going to the AEW show in Toronto. I'm sure first time experience for that. That'll be fun. You're welcome.
What did you think of SmackDown tonight?
I thought it sucked tonight. But again, I give it a bit of a pass because they're taping a show later on. So
yeah,
you know, usually when they do that, the first show is usually this bad.
Yeah, they're taping SmackDown for next week tonight because next week they'll be traveling to Wales or already in Wales. They'll probably be already in Wales. So yeah, that's why they're taping SmackDown tonight.
Oh no, they'll be in Wales after Raw, I think.
Oh yeah, they're going there like Tuesday.
No.
Okay.
Well, it makes more sense because I think I'm not sure if isn't Roman on Raw
on Monday.
We know Bayley for sure will be. Bayley's squad will be on Raw for sure.
Yeah, Bayley. I don't think Roman is announced for Raw. Bayley will be with Dakota Kai and Io Sky against Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah in the finals of the tag team title tournament. kind of weird the finals of the tournament are on TV, and then they're just doing a 6-woman tag on the pay-per-view. I guess because of Bianca? Or, I don't know.
Well, there's that, and the fact that they built this feud from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the tournament was kind of just, like, a side thing. The tournament wasn't as big as this feud.
I'm surprised Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah made it to the finals.
Well, this, again, shows you SmackDown. Not a lot of depth when it comes to tag team wrestling.
Yeah. Next week on SmackDown, they're advertising a 2-year celebration of Roman Reigns' title reign. Which, 2 years. Pretty impressive. Ronda Rousey's final judgment, whatever that means, because she was arrested last week in Montreal with cops that were wrestlers and cop cars that didn't look like our cop cars. I mean, they kind of did, but they weren't exactly. And the uniforms did not look like our cop uniforms. So that was a dead giveaway. But, yeah, Ronda was arrested last week, and next week we'll have the final judgment. I don't know what that means. Is she still locked up in jail somewhere in Montreal? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Well, I thought they said on commentary that Adam Pearce said he's not going to press charges.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't understand this final judgment, but maybe it's the final judgment about her suspension, possibly. I don't know.
I think Green Phantom pressed charges, so.
Seems like the kind of guy that would do that, yeah.
He should. She need him in the head. It's uncalled for. I'm pretty sure he pressed charges, so she's in trouble.
Even though he, like, ran at her, but yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely her fault.
Does Ronda get added to the Liv Morgan Shayna Baszler match at Clash at the Castle? I think she kind of has to, because otherwise Shayna Baszler will wrestle Liv Morgan at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, well, they did a video package tonight, so that's what I'm expecting we're going to see. You know, Ronda might be around here or there, kind of thing. That's what I'm expecting, like a Ronda appearance, not a match.
Liv Morgan is still the SmackDown champion. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's great, but I think Ronda, like, doing this kind of like Austin rebellion thing, like, I think that's the best way to do Ronda right now.
We'll see. I think you got to add her to the match. The male model team is going to take on Hit Row next week. They have a feud going. I don't even... Like, they did some stuff on SmackDown tonight, but...
They spray painted the bus.
Yes, the Hit Row and the Street Profits were hanging out together. And then the male models were there. And they were trying to do a photo shoot, but there was a bus that was playing loud music. And the male models thought it was Hit Row, so they spray painted on the bus, Hit Row sucks. And then Hit Row showed up, and they're like, oh, you guys think we suck? Well, why don't we have a match next week on SmackDown? Instead of fighting right now, let's wrestle next week. And by the way, this is not our bus. And then the Street Profits come out, and they're like, oh, what happened to our bus? So that happened. How come the Street Profits have a bus? It's crazy.
When do they have a bus? Well, doesn't like Kofi Kingston have a bus?
I mean, he's Kofi Kingston, the former world champion. He's a multi-time tag team champion. He's one of the greatest guys WWE's ever had. He's a future Hall of Famer. You know, he's Kofi Kingston. He's the best Kingston that CM Punk's ever shared a locker room with. Okay, that's who he is. That was a good line, too, when he just takes shots at Eddie Kingston for no reason in particular. By the way, Eddie Kingston, you're the third best Eddie I've ever wrestled. You're the second best Kingston I ever shared a locker room with. You're a fat piece of shit. You know? Tremendous.
You're taking a little liberties there. You didn't say the fat part, but yeah.
I know. I'm joking around. That's what Sammy Guevara said about him, and Eddie Kingston got very mad. Yeah. What was I talking about? WWE?
You're talking about the male models? You like them?
Oh, God. Yeah, I love them. Leor says, what do you guys think of Hit Row?
They were pretty bad in Montreal.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mind them doing the run-in, beating up the male models, but then the performance, it's like, no, that was the wrong idea right there.
Yeah.
And where I was sitting,
I don't
you
like
could see
either
them
group.
doing the rehearsals for that too. Like, they practiced that, and it was still bad.
They did a performance hit row?
Yeah, well, like, what you could see, like, on one of the monitors where I was sitting, you could see, like, the tech guys, they have, like, I guess the rehearsals of what they do before the show, right? And they did that whole segment. I saw the whole segment before it happened.
Oh.
And they did the whole performance and all that, with the lighting and everything. It was still awful.
Yeah, I don't like that group or the other group. When I see them on TV, I don't want to watch. And when I saw them in person, we went to the bathroom.
So is this going to be a 6-person tag or just a tag? Like, they didn't really say, did they?
No.
I'm going to bet it's tag. I don't know if the women on each team is really going to be wrestling that much.
Yeah, do they wrestle? Do they wrestle?
I mean, they could. They don't wrestle much, though, so I'm not expecting it.
I've never seen either of them wrestle. One of them, the woman with the male models, I don't know what her name is. Maxine? Is it Maxine?
I believe it's Sophia Cromwell.
What?
That was her NXT name? Yeah.
Oh.
I think that was her name.
Anyways,
I
don't know who she is.
I don't know my NXT that well.
I don't know who she is. I've never seen her wrestle. I don't know what she does exactly. And the other one with Hit Row, she raps, I think. I've never seen her wrestle either. Does she wrestle?
I think I saw her wrestle once in NXT. Very short match. So I didn't really see much.
Why are they there? What do they do? What do they add? If they don't wrestle, why are they there? I don't really understand. I don't know what any of this is. I don't like it. I skip it. Like, I like Sheamus and Gunther and that promo. I thought that was good. Sheamus talking about all the guys he beat, saying he's the real ring general and all this stuff, and then Gunther showing Sheamus, telling Sheamus he's going to show him what violence is all about. Like, that was good stuff. And then Pete Dunne and Kaiser Sose or whatever, they're brawling with each other. That was good.
That was good. Not them just staring at each other while the brawling's happening. Like, that was like that stupid Moxley and Tanahashi thing. Like, that was dumb.
Kind of fits Gunther's character, though, doesn't it? That's what he does.
Yeah,
and he
but
doesn't care about that other guy. He slaps him around all the time. So if he's fighting, what does he care? Let him fight. Let him get beat up by Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. Gunther don't care. Gunther slaps that guy around anyways. Ludwig Borga or whatever his name is. Ludwig Kaiser. I call him Kaiser Soze and Ludwig Borga. I'll get it right. Ludwig Kaiser. John, you know Kaiser Soze?
I do not.
You ever see the movie Usual Suspects?
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's good.
You know a lot of classics. It's good, though.
I know old
classics.
Shit. Yeah. I don't like new stuff. Yeah. That was SmackDown. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods cut a promo. Seemed like they were maybe retiring. Xavier Woods was in a wheelchair. And then the Viking Raiders showed up, and it looked like they were going to beat down Kofi. But Woods got out of his wheelchair and attacked with kendo sticks. And now it's going to be New Day versus Viking Raiders in a Viking rules match, which is no rules at all. So it'll be New Day versus the Raiders next week on SmackDown. And Butch, or Pete Dunne, or whatever his name is going to wrestle Ludwig Kaiser on SmackDown next week as well. How about it?
Well, didn't they give him like his full name now? Isn't it Pete Butch Dunne? Isn't that his name now?
I don't know. I didn't hear that. That's good. They should do that.
I think that's what they did. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what they did or planning to do, because there's this whole thing about giving names again, which is happening and not happening, right? Like, okay, Johnny Gargano is actually Johnny Gargano, but theory is still just theory, though.
And Tommaso Ciampa is still just Ciampa.
Exactly.
And Io Shirai is now Io Sky for some reason. That was a weird one.
So, they're still selective on name changes. Like, okay, Kevin gets his NXT, like, Tron back. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the duct tape look, but if people think that makes him cooler, fine.
Yeah, they're going back to the duct tape Kevin Owens KO logo. It's a little weird, but whatever. I don't mind. Throwback.
Wants to sell the whole NXT thing, like, oh, it's the NXT Kevin Owens. Like, he was good. It's just like, he looked better, look-wise anyways, not with the duct tape on him.
Well, it's the new Triple H era of WWE. The black and gold WWE. The black and gold NXT is in full effect. They're bringing back NXT style Kevin Owens. Finn Balor beat Dolph Ziggler on Raw. You got Io Shirai and Dakota Kai getting big match wins on Raw and SmackDown. You've got Bayley in a big role. I mean, Johnny Gargano has a big return. A lot of these black and gold NXT era stars are now flourishing all of a sudden on the main roster as the major stars of the WWE. And it's happened over the past month or so. I wonder what's changed. Right? Like, you can clearly see the Triple H imprint on the company. And I, for one, like it. I feel like the WWE right now is pretty good. It's improving. And there's hope for the future.
Like, yes and no. Like, they really gotta, like, cut down on the bad women's wrestling. That's really a huge problem right now with WWE. Like, I feel there's some good matches, but then you get a bad women's match, and it kind of kills a lot of the show. It kills a lot of the momentum. And it happened in Montreal. We started off with a bad women's match, and it just, you have this bad feeling until finally you get a good match. It's like, oh, it's good. Then you get another bad women's match. They just, it's fine that Triple H wants to push the women's wrestlers. It's fine, but, like, maybe just don't have the matches that long, because, like, I don't know if they can do long matches. Most of them, anyways.
We need Charlotte Flair. Once Charlotte comes back, everything will be all right.
That's on SmackDown, though. I mean, on Raw, like, you don't have anyone who can really carry it. You don't have Becky now. Like, you don't have that strong character anymore.
Yeah. Bianca's promo with Trish Stratus was not very convincing. But that's why they have Bayley. That's why Bayley's on both shows, because you need her. I don't know why you're not a believer in Bayley. What are you talking about?
Did you watch that match? Like, how bad that match was.
She wrestled Aaliyah, and it was her first match back. It's not her fault. Not Bayley's fault.
She's off to a bad start.
She wrestled Aaliyah. Come on. And Aaliyah's the worst of the worst. I think she's the worst wrestler that they have on TV right now.
It's too bad, because I met her before, and, like, she's a good person. Like, there's a lot of, like, jerks in WWE, and I don't think she's one of them. But, yeah, that match wasn't that good. You can't deny it.
All her matches are pretty bad, too. So it leads you to,
not all the matches.
You get to a conclusion there, something's not good. She's not so good. All right.
I mean, you keep it at 3.17 seconds. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They dropped that gimmick too soon.
Less than that. Lior says, less than that. Far less. How about 0 seconds? Lior says, thank you guys for the extra long episode this week. Makes up for last week where we missed you. Keep up the fantastic content. We are going to keep up the fantastic content because that's what we do here on the Ringside Report Network. Only fantastic content. No bad content. That's one of the rules. No bad content. AJ and I did a show last night about MMA. We talked about trilogies in the history of the UFC. Couldn't do a preview show this week because there's no UFC this weekend. Next week we will preview the UFC France show. And that's when I will be on next Thursday night, 8 p.m. with AJ and Freddie. We will be previewing UFC Paris, Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. And that show is taking place at the exact same time as Clash at the Castle on that Saturday, September 3rd. UFC doing a show in Paris, so they're in the afternoon for us here in North America. And WWE doing a show in Wales, so they're in the afternoon as well. UFC main card starts at 3 p.m. WWE Clash at the Castle starts at 1 p.m. on Saturday, September 3rd. Why they keep doing this to me? WWE and UFC running opposites again. They keep doing it. Even overseas.
A long weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend. We're going to so next week I've got Thursday night 8 p.m. We're going to do the UFC Paris preview. Then next week 10 p.m. with Johnny, we're going to preview Clash at the Castle and AEW's All Out. Right?
Dang. Wow.
Yeah. Double pay-per-view preview next week. And then Saturday afternoon, we will do the Clash at the Castle post show. And Sunday night, late, we'll do the AEW All Out post show. So we've got a very big week next week. And it would not be possible without supporters like Doug Hepburn, like Lior, like Anthony Plessia, like Harold Schneider, like Antoinette, like Silent by Deadly. And so many more. So many more. I'm just seeing the ones that I see in the chat right now. Thank you once again, Harold Schneider. You are the super chat leader of the night. Of course, always give a shout out to my boy Angelo Contagonis. Not with us live, but I'm sure he will be watching. Big supporter of the Ringside Report Network. We appreciate everybody that supports the show. All our big supporters, Patrick C. Hamilton, Angelo Contagonis, Doug Hepburn, Harold Schneider. Big supporters of the Ringside Report Network, and we appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, everybody watching, everybody throwing a like on the video, everybody subscribing to the channel, everybody leaving a comment under the video. Just say, hey guys, thanks for the show, or Dave, you're awesome, something. Or congratulations on the blue belt in jiu-jitsu, Dave, which Johnny didn't say at all to me, which I'm a little disappointed.
You gave a like to your photo? What are you talking about?
I don't think you did give a like to my photo. I don't think there was a like on. No, I don't think there was a like. That's why I was a little bit like, oh, what? Does John not like that I'm doing jiu-jitsu or something? Whoa, John doesn't like my attention diverted. He wants me focused on the show and the Ringside Report Network. He doesn't want me doing jiu-jitsu. I didn't see a like on any photos, John, and I was wondering, like, hey, man, I got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. It's kind of a big deal for me. It's kind of cool. And Johnny didn't say anything to me. A lot of people congratulated to me, and I very much appreciate it. But Johnny didn't say anything. And I was like, hey, John, hey, don't make me come after you. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm not that good, but I'm all right. I'm okay. I got a couple tricks here and there. Once you learn them, though, I'm screwed.
It's because I liked it offline, so it didn't count. That's why.
Oh. So now you like it officially? Did you just go and like?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you could tell me now about how awesome I am, how cool I am about jiu-jitsu and everything, You can do a speech now if you want.
Well, it's great how you heard AJ, apparently, that you guys were talking about that.
I heard AJ?
Proud of yourself? You apparently, like, he pulled a muscle or something. You guys were like, he was trying to show you something?
He hurt himself. He, like, exploded into an escape. I was like, here, let me see, armbar here. And then he was trying to show me this escape to it. And he just, like did this, like, big, like, explosion move on the floor. And I was like, what are you doing? You're not warmed up. You're on the floor. And you're old. AJ hurt himself. I didn't hurt AJ. But I could. No, I probably couldn't. He's pretty good at jiu-jitsu himself. He's a brown belt, which is a higher rank than me, my friend, which means that, he's probably better. Probably better. Although he's never proven it to me directly. And I'd like him to. Because even if he is better, that's actually better for me, because then he could teach me shit. That's how jiu-jitsu works. You want to be fighting guys that beat you up. That way you get better at beating other people up. It's tricky. It's a good time. I got beat up today and yesterday, but not the day before because I didn't go. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, John, for your heartfelt congratulations. I love you, buddy. You are a champion. It's just when you win championship gold in wrestling, I do big posts, we celebrate, we have all these things. I win what is the equivalent in my world of championship gold and crickets from Johnny.
I gave you the like, I congratulated you on hurting AJ. Like, that's a major accomplishment for you, no? Like,
for me, it's a major accomplishment. For anybody else. Now I'm as good as Tai Conti, John. She's got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu too, so.
I think it's in judo, isn't it?
No, she's got a black belt in judo.
Black belt in judo, actually. So you're not quite there yet.
Judo. No, I'm not a black belt in judo. But AJ told me that if you have a black belt in judo, a lot of jiu-jitsu schools will just give you a blue belt right away, even if you've never done jiu-jitsu. So I don't know if Tai Conti's ever actually done jiu-jitsu, or she just has a blue belt because she walked into a school maybe once or twice and got one because she's a black belt in judo. Apparently that happens in some places.
Was the teacher, no?
Oh, really? Okay, well, then she's probably done some jiu-jitsu. Sure. I don't know anything about Tai Conti or Tai Mello or Tai Guevara, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I know enough. I've seen her, like, make out with tongue with her husband on TV. That's, like, more than I wanted to know. Did it happen tonight? I didn't see it. I wasn't looking. Rampage. What a rampage. You gonna get Paige in an AEW? I've been hearing rumors about Paige. Is she gonna wrestle again?
Can she wrestle again? I think that's the big question.
I don't know. If she can, I think she'd be good in AEW. They need stars, She's a star.
She should be good anywhere.
She'd be good in WWE too, yeah. No, you're right. She'd be good anywhere. She's very good. They need stars like that.
At one point, she was the best, I think, women's wrestler in the world. Like, it didn't last long, sadly, but she was the best.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yep, Paige was great. All right, John, the Yankees are up 3-1. Bottom of the 8th. 2 out.
It should be all right.
Full count here.
It should.
Jonathan Loaizaga on the mound for the Yankees. Let's get out of the bottom of the 8th, and then we're 3 outs away from a victory. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. They beat the Blue Jays, swept the Mets in a 2-game series. Oh, there we go. Struck him out. We're out of the inning. Jonathan Loaizaga. Johnny Lasagna. All right. Yankees going to top of the 9th in Oakland. LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton coming up. And that does it. That does it. I'm going to go watch the Yankees hopefully win another game, 5 in a row. Everybody's making fun of the Yankees. Everybody taking shots at Big Dave, saying, oh, the Yankees are losing a lot of games. Well, the Yankees suck. Yeah, well, we maintained first place the whole time. They maintained first place the whole time. The New York Yankees, the greatest franchise in professional sports, maintained first place despite losing because that's how far ahead they were over all the other teams. And now they're on a win streak. And they're going to sweep Oakland because Oakland is terrible. Beat them 13-4 last night. Game started at 9:40 at night, as did tonight's game because they're in Oakland. And I can't stay up that late on a school night. Thankfully, it's a weekend, so I'm all right. But on a school night, I'm up early the next day. But I went to bed in the 4th inning, and it was 10-0 Yankees. I felt comfortable going to sleep, 10-0, you're doing all right. Yankees destroyed the A's last night, and they're winning 3-1 now. Okay? That's Yankee Talk for you. Thank you for listening to Yankee Talk right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.